This is the weather forecast video for Tuesday, March 27th, 2012. Taking a look at the satellite image from last evening, a storm system over the plain states is moving our way, producing a couple of showers and storms later today across mainly the eastern counties, some that could be even quite strong. Watch warning map from before or around midnight. Frost and freeze advisories over lower Michigan, Ohio into the mid-Atlantic states with some cold weather there and some wind advisories, high wind warnings over the high plains. QPF chart precipitation over the next 5 days through Saturday evening at 7 o'clock shows some amounts of maybe 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch of rain. This will be with the storm system today and another one later in the week. Let's take a look at this storm system with the 0Z GFS Model Run. At 1 p.m. this afternoon, you can see there's the piece of energy over the U.S.-Canadian border. At the surface, a low pressure over Minnesota with a trailing front into the eastern counties could produce some widely scattered showers and maybe thunderstorms, some of which could be quite strong. Let's take a look at the severe weather parameters. This is the STP, the significant tornado parameter. The highest value slightly over 1 in far northeast or east central Iowa into Wisconsin. They do get higher. This is at 4 p.m. This is the supercell potential. Highest values well off to our east, but some significant values across the tri-states of Wisconsin, Illinois, and eastern parts of Iowa. And now the Craven-Brooks Index showing some pretty significant values in a line from about Dubuque to Burlington, and this will be about where the storms will initiate later this afternoon if they do develop. And the surface-based Cape, this is a little later at 7 p.m., showing Cape values in the far southeastern counties over 1,500 to about 2,000 joules. So the Cape values are a little bit up in this run from earlier. And with that, the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe weather for mainly this afternoon and this evening across far southeastern Iowa, namely south and east of about a Savannah, Illinois to Bloomfield line. Here's the tornado outlook. Best chance of any tornadoes will likely be in central into far northeastern Missouri, say Peoria to about Quincy and Hannibal, with lighter or lesser chances around here. This is the damaging wind outlook, and about the same place as the slight risk, but we could see a strong wind gust even as far west as maybe Waterloo, Dubuque, Cedar Rapids. So you can't rule that out. And the large hail outlook, it didn't change a whole lot because there's not much difference. Any large hail likely in the far southeastern counties into Illinois and into Missouri. Back to the GFS and back into the forecast here for Wednesday. The storm is gone, clearing, but temperatures won't really cool off. Back into the 60s to near 70. Thursday, another disturbance comes in that could bring some widely scattered showers and maybe a thunderstorm over parts of western Iowa into Nebraska and the Dakotas. This moves across the state here for Friday with a pretty good chance of a shower or storm. Severe weather isn't anticipated with this one. On Saturday, that moves off, and the weekend starts with some decent weather. Temperatures still above normal in the 60s and 70s statewide with southerly winds. By Sunday, however, it's going to get a little bit breezy with a storm system really developing over the Dakotas and High Plains. There could be a very isolated shower over the far western counties. And by Monday, this storm really digs in. Negative tilt, strong ridge just to its east, strong trough off to the west, and when you have those combined, boom! Big storm with a low pressure over Omaha. That could be some pretty strong storms there if this holds out, and maybe even some snow in the higher elevations off to our west. And even a week from today, on Tuesday, it becomes an upper level low and gets cut off from the main jet stream, and that means it's going to hang around for a while, and with the low overhead and cold air aloft, temperatures won't be very warm, and we could see some wet snowflakes mixed in with mainly some cold rain by next week. A few days later, on the 7th, there's the upper level low. It's still around, now into the southeastern part of the country, and the cold weather that was seen in the last 2 days is now gone. But it will be a bit cooler. Temperatures not in the 70s, maybe lower 60s. So we'll see if this becomes a trend that the cold weather doesn't come. But the end of the forecast on the 11th, broad trough over the west, a ridge over the east and southeast, and that keeps us in the warm sector and keeps us with some warm air and a storm system off to our north with some rain and maybe a few isolated thunderstorms with that as well. Thank you for tuning in to the weather forecast video. We'll have another one on Wednesday.